Turning now to the Middle East, the Israeli military says that it has rescued a hostage taken by Hamas. That's according to the Associated Press. Meanwhile, Israel remains under threat from Iran and its proxies. Our Imtiaz Tyab is joining us now from Tel Aviv. Imtiaz, good morning. What can you tell us?
Yeah, hey, Anne-Marie, good morning to you. Well, we can confirm that 52-year-old Qaid Farhan al-Qadi, who is from the Muslim Bedouin community here in Israel, who was taken hostage by Hamas on October 7th, has been rescued by Israeli forces. In fact, we've heard from his brother Farhan, who said that he was found by Israeli commandos in a tunnel and that he was by himself. Now, in the last half hour, we've seen images of a helicopter landing in a hospital in Beersheba, which is in the south and has a large Bedouin community not far from where al-Qadi lives. And we've also seen an image of him in a hospital bed looking healthy as he receives treatment. Now, this, of course, caps an extraordinary ordeal for Mr. al-Qadi himself, being held for so long in Gaza. Now, we don't have much more details than that, but we're already hearing from Israeli leaders that they hope that this rescue could put pressure on Yahya Sinwar, the leader of Hamas in Gaza, to really come to the table with a hostage agreement that is being negotiated in Cairo. Now, there was no breakthrough over the weekend. Many had believed that on Sunday the talks would produce some results when you had both an Israeli delegation, a Hamas delegation, and of course, very senior American officials, including the CIA director in Cairo, trying to hammer out a deal. That, of course, hasn't happened. But again, those talks are ongoing. All of this comes at a time of extremely heightened sensitivities. Over the weekend, we also saw the largest cross-border attacks between Israel and Hezbollah, both sides saying that the situation has, in their words, now been contained. But Iran, which has also said that it plans to target Israel, saying that it could potentially do so any moment now. So the situation remains extremely tense. But for this one family who's been so worried about their loved one, he has now been free. Anne-Marie.
Yeah, just incredible relief for that family. Imtiaz, thank you very much. So more on the ongoing conflict now. I want to bring in retired Marine Colonel and Senior Advisor at the Center for Strategic and International Studies, Mark Cancian. Thank you so much for joining us. So we know that the U.S. has aircraft carriers in the Middle East. What strategic purpose? Why keep those carriers there?
Well, I think there are several purposes. Of course, Israel is facing attacks from Iran and Hezbollah. As we just heard, very volatile situation. The United States has been quite involved in defensive operations in support of Israel. In other words, the United States has been willing to shoot down missiles that are aimed at Israel. The United States has not been willing to take offensive measures, not willing to put any troops on the ground. The fact that we have two aircraft carriers there is quite significant. We rarely do that, and it shows that the United States is really quite concerned about the possibility of perhaps a larger war or a major strike by Iran or Hezbollah.
Does the positioning of these aircraft carriers, though, I guess, does it increase the tensions that are in the region? There's always, when you have all this sort of volatility, the risk of an error.
There's maybe some small risk, but I think it really stabilizes the situation more. And the reason for that is that knowing that there's more of a defensive cover over Israel will make Iran and Hezbollah less likely to make a major strike. And then maybe we can get away from this tit for tat, I strike you, you strike me, and open the way for possible negotiations.
Indeed. And I want to talk a little bit about what is happening in Gaza. The United Nations has temporarily paused humanitarian work in the Gaza Strip due to an Israeli military-ordered evacuation. What type of impact could even a temporary pause in aid have on the people there?
Well, Gaza is a humanitarian crisis, and any disruption in the flow of supplies is very serious. They are living on the edge. This evacuation seems to indicate that the Israelis are ready to make another move. Things have been relatively quiet there for really several months. The Israelis have focused on hostages and going after individual Hezbollah officials. This might be a signal that the Israelis were going to launch another major attack. But it will be very difficult for the population there and really can't go on very long.
You know, it's sort of difficult to assess exactly where we are because there's always more than one thing happening at the same time. You know, there continues to be strikes in Gaza. There continues to be, proxy strikes towards Israel. But then there also continues to be sort of incremental progress when it comes to these negotiations for a ceasefire and a hostage release. Are you heartened by the fact that at least all sides want to continue the conversation, even if we're talking about lower level officials taking part?
Well, it is encouraging that all sides are talking, that these discussions have now continue in Cairo. The problem is that Israel and Hamas are still taking incompatible positions. The Israelis want all their hostages back and want guarantees that Gaza will not be the base for future terrorist attacks on Israel. Hamas knows that these hostages are its ace and is very reluctant to give many of them up or give all of them up. They're demanding that Israel leave entirely in the Gaza and allow Hamas to reassert its rule there. So we might have some temporary agreements, a few hostages for, a temporary truce. We saw that back in, I think, November. But long term, the two sides, unfortunately, are just very far apart.
And in the backdrop, of course, of all of this is Iran. Just this morning, Iran's supreme leader implied that he would be open to revisit nuclear program negotiations with the U.S. Can you just sort of remind us now of what the status is with Iran's nuclear program? And is Iran and Israel, now that we're seeing sort of increased tensions in the region, is there even a possibility that we could re-establish negotiations when it comes to Iran's nuclear program and shift the relationship that the U.S. has with Iran right now?
Well, it's possible, but we've been disappointed many times in the past, so we'll have to see how this plays out. As people will probably remember, during the Obama administration, they made a deal with Iran basically to restrict its nuclear program for a period of time, and the United States would ease up on some sanctions. The Trump administration did not agree with that. The Republicans were very uncomfortable, very opposed. So the U.S. walked away from that agreement. The Biden administration tried to reestablish it, but made no progress with Iran. And the talks have really gone nowhere for several years. This could be an opening. There's a new government in Tehran. On the other hand, this just could be an effort to split the U.S. and Israel.
Mark Cancian, thank you very much.